1420 Sports Podcast, show 209, brought to you by Manscaped on June the 14th, 2022. Dave, the weather, man, we get, like we talked off air a little bit here, we get 3, maybe 4 months of good, solid summertime here where we live in Canada, in Alberta. Yes, we don't get the snow because we have Chinooks that blow through here and there, but we only get 4 solid months where you can depend that it's going to be nice. We can wear shorts. You're going to get the odd rainstorm here and there. Where we are, Southern Alberta, it's a very different climate. Irrigation takes care of the rainfall, so the farmers can have their water to grow the wheat and everything else. But my, oh my, the last 2 days, it's been torrential downpours. Like, it's not going to stop. You expect to see Noah's Ark going down the street around here. It's been fucking brutal.
You know what? And the bad thing is Sunday afternoon was goddamn near perfect.
I was in the ball field, Dave, and I can't agree with you anymore.
It was sunny. It was 23 with a gentle breeze. I even posted a picture. I was just hanging out in my backyard. It was so nice. I said, fuck it, I'm taking an hour and I'm going to be lazy. And that's what I did. I brought up the good lawn chair. I sat in the backyard. I had a cigarette and a beer, and it was like I was in Mexico. Fast forward to Monday. Holy, not just rain, brother.
Sideways.
It was like 40, 60 kilometer hour wind. Like, it came at you. It was bad outside today. It was, I would prefer to be outside in minus 10 degrees Celsius with sun than that shit we dealt with today.
Yeah, I went across the street to get groceries yesterday, and as I was walking back across, of course, I'm dumb. I want to wear shorts as much as possible, and it's only a 2-minute walk, but I said to myself, Lord, we only get 4 months of summer around here. Can you just give us that? Like, I started thinking about Beach Boys songs and all the leaves are brown and the sky is gray, and it's only June. It's like, Jesus, man, can you just give us that? Brutal. We need it. We needed the moisture and everything else for the farmers. Everything I understand that because it was dry as a camel's ass. But my God,
how about a thunderstorm at night, and then give us a nice day? Like, I'll take a thunderstorm every night.
Let it rain all night after 10 o'clock when the ball games are over. Everything else, golf's done. 10 o'clock, rain as much as you want till 5 a.m.
You bet.
And let us have summer and be done with it. That's how it should be done. We got it.
Partly cloudy, 25 degrees Celsius.
You should write a letter. I don't know who you'd write it to.
Well, I don't know. You know, I went to private school and church all the way to the age of 20.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't get what I wanted then. So I don't know if I'm praying to the wrong guy, or maybe I'm just not earnest enough.
It's all Dave. You know what? It's all the same guy. It's the same book.
I should be more earnest.
Ernest goes to fucking camp. That's about how earnest you're gonna get. But anyways, Dave, last night, slow night. The Yankees weren't on TV. I didn't happen to be on the field. Wasn't playing golf. Just sitting around the house. Like I said, it was raining. The Edmonton Oil Kings, they ended up winning the WHL championship last night in Game 6. And I got thinking. I put it on the Twitter machine. I believe that if your team is on the road in a Game 6. And they can wrap it up, but you got tickets for Game 7. Do you want them to wrap it up in 6, or are you secretly selfishly hoping to go to Game 7 to watch it live?
Win it.
Get it over with.
It's about the rings, right? Because the indecision, I'd be a nervous wreck. And if they lost, I'd never forget it. And I'm never going to forget their win, even though I was watching on TV as opposed to being there in person. Obviously, being there in person to watch them win, that would be the best. Like a chance, like an elimination game at home, and watching your team win that. But like the winner go home at home. God for the ring. I'd be a little disappointed if I couldn't see the championship, the Game 7 winning at home, but I would take the win over, because no matter what, you have a 2-day window in there, you'd be a complete wreck. That it wouldn't be a lot of fun. The speaking of two-day windows, Dave,
For some reason, the NBA needs 3 and 4 days. I watched that game last night as well. The Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors were up by a lot early, and they never relinquished the lead once. Once again, another shitty NBA game that didn't. I shouldn't say shitty. Maybe the ins and outs of the game were a little bit better, but there wasn't any drama. Golden State had to lead early. They scored often, and it was done. And now they're taking 3 or 4 days off again. Yes, they're traveling from East Coast to West Coast and back and forth, like from one end to the other. But other sports do that too, man. Like, what's with the NBA?
I have no idea. Like, so we're June 14 today, yes? Yeah, June 14. Game 1, I just looked it up as you were talking there, was June 2. And they just finished game fucking 5. They need 2 days less a week to play 5 fucking games. Where's the competition in this? Like, I don't understand. Is it because they want the players to be healthy, or is it because it's slow programming and they want to drag it out and have the talking heads every day because they get good ratings for that? It has to be about ratings, otherwise they wouldn't do it.
Maybe it's something simple, like because the NHL would have been playing tonight if there was a game 7 with the or is it last night with the Rangers? And maybe it's that. Maybe it's something that the other networks have a deal. I don't know. Or maybe it's something also with the U.S. Opens coming up this weekend. We also have Luke's Lot coming up later on in the show. I think there's a lot, but every other sport can just go every other night. And we've talked about this before in the show, Dave. The NHL used to do a 2 nights in a row, 1 night off, 2 nights in a row, 1 night off, travel, and then game. It was done. A 7-game series used to take 10 days. If that.
I don't know. I think they should do that. I don't understand it. Like, well, I do understand because they're dragging it on. More revenue for the TV partners, and it's never going to go back to the old way. Because you know how in that first round of the playoffs you have 8 games a night, so every other night you would have 16 games. Like that's, I get how that can be a little much, but you know, I'm only watching one and a half a night anyways. I don't have 6 hours to fucking kill on a Tuesday evening to watch hockey for that long.
No. And I'd especially have that much time to watch basketball. Because I remember back in the Yankee heyday, there'd be a game every night off, and it was just games, and you would be much more enthralled with it and much more engaged with it. I thought it was better back. Everything's obviously better back in the day, but the way that NBA can drag this out, because I think as you get into summer, you find more things to do and you forget about the championships that are happening on television. That's my opinion. I'm that way, not just with basketball, but with hockey. Like I've said that 1,000 times back when the NHL would have NHL Stanley Cup playoff games on a Saturday afternoon in June, in May, whatever month. I'm not watching. I'd rather be on the lake or golfing or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you know, you mentioned too that, you know, they're sports junkies and we're not Americans, right? We don't live down there. And I think the sports bar culture is something that
it's a lot different.
I do believe it's a lot different. And as you mentioned, the U.S. Open, I looked at I kept that NBA schedule open. Game 7 is set for Sunday at 7 o'clock our time, so 9 p.m. Eastern.
The U.S. Open's done.
The U.S. Open's done, and everybody's like, and then everybody's in the bar anyways, and now they're doing pregame and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, you can pull a shift on that day if you're a sports bar junkie, and it might be a pretty goddamn good day. I'll give you that.
There's people who are smarter than us that figure this stuff out and say, we'll have games here, have games there, because this will work, and advertising dollars, we can increase it and everything else. It's business, and that's the way they do things. And they're much more bigger production value than the 1420 Sports Podcast. So we'll give this one little thing to them for sure.
Just one more second into that. I imagine the U.S. Open golf is going to have a crazy amount of eyeballs on it this week due to that live controversy, right? And
I think it's going to be huge because some of those live guys are allowed to play this weekend and everything else. And I think it's going to be a huge number. Huge.
Yeah, I think the U.S., especially if it's close, if it's DJ, if it's like DJ and Rory on the final pairing, it's going to have the biggest numbers the U.S. Open's ever had.
I was watching yesterday, Dave, the highlights from the Canadian Open. Just we'll get onto our show tonight. But I was watching the Canadian Open, the final pairing and the last holes, everything else, and the highlights. I got a bit of a man crush on Rory McIlroy. I like that cat, man. He seems like he's a good time, a genuine fella. He seems to like Canadians. He was having a good time. He plays hard. He's got 20 plus PGA wins over the years, and he doesn't seem like a fucking nozzle. Like he seems like a pretty decent guy. I got a bit about and the way he was embracing the Canadian Open and everything else when he won on Sunday. I kind of like that dude.
I've always kind of liked Rory. Like he was young. He's one may argue that he's underachieved a little bit, but now he's won one more title than Norman on the PGA Tour, 21, and back-to-back Canadian champion. And he spoke fondly and from the heart. And I don't know if that's an act either, but I don't think you can do that without having real emotion and like some emotional skin in the game, which it seems to me he does, and that makes the guy more likable.
No, he seems like he's always got a smile on his face. He seems to be having a good time. I don't think he takes himself too seriously. I think there was a moment in his career he started out really strong early. Had a pretty good time in the middle. Now he's getting a little more mature and he's winning some tournaments and finishing strong. I quite like him a lot. He's one of my top guys to watch for sure. Dave, over the weekend, I did I don't want to say youth baseball, but American Legion baseball, ages 14, 15 to 17, 18 years old. There's all ran the gamut of ages there. It's different than I'm used to with college guys and WCBL guys. So there's a lot more parents in the stands and a lot more of that stuff going on, umpiring that. So that adds an extra element to a baseball game. I don't let it bother me because I'm in a stage in my life where if somebody wants to bitch and yell and everything else, I let them do that because it doesn't change my call or this or that. But on Monday morning, I was scanning the old Twitter machine as I do throughout the day. It's kind of part of the old gig here. And Sean Shalinsky, a guy who I follow for some unknown reason, he had some interesting stuff to say. He was at his nephew's 12-year-old baseball game. The pitcher was pitching a perfect game through 3-4 innings. The losing manager conceded the game and convinced the other manager to turn the game into a practice game. So the pitcher lost the possible throw of a perfect game. Which and not even a perfect game, like a Deanne perfect game where he was striking everybody out. I understand that you don't want to have your kid embarrassed by the whole team striking out. So be probably at that age be 18 guys in a row, which 18 kids would strike out in a row. He was at 12, but Jesus, man, what are we teaching our kids? That if you're failing, you can just hit Control Alt Delete and just start over. Because I think to take that away from a kid, like Sean said on his tweet, man, I think that's bad juju, man. Is that what Little League's supposed to be about? What minor sports is supposed to be about?
I have zero problem with the conceding. I have zero problem with it. But I also have varying degrees of it. Like, I don't know what league it is. It's not rep ball. It's not travel ball yet. So this tells me this probably house league ball.
Yeah, let's just say, let's just set some parameters here. Let's call it Fort McLeod Little League, where it's a community team and there's 4 communities because I don't know. There's 4 community teams and they play in a league against each other. Let's call it that.
Okay. And then, so now he's going through the perfect game, and you and the fella's take is like, why should we rob a 12-year-old of a once in a lifetime opportunity?
Yeah.
So that's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Nothing life changes, like no athletic accomplishment you make when you're 12 years old should have any effect on the rest of your life. You're 12 fucking years old. You don't even have hair on the balls. And then people are gonna prop you up and give you fucking platitudes for something that's, yes, a testament of your skill, as a 12-year-old boy against chumps, right? A bad team. And now everybody's telling you how fucking great you are. You're 12 fucking years old on a Tuesday afternoon in fucking Milwaukee. Like, what the fucking difference does it make? It should not be a life-changing event. It can be a nice accomplishment, but absolutely not. Are you doing something that is life-defining at the age of 12?
100%. But go the other way around. Why is a kid allowed to come to bat and hit 9 home runs every time he comes up to bat?
Because you can't take a bat out of his hand, and he's only facing that pitcher once, like 4 or 5 times a game. Right.
So every time a kid comes up to bat, he can hit a home run, and he's lauded as a hero. So why can't a pitcher come up and strike everybody out? Or maybe, but we don't know, because we don't know if that kid was going to strike everybody out. There could be a ground ball involved. There could be an error involved. There could be something involved. Like, my argument on this, Dave, is that sometimes, you know what, there are people, there are kids, there are things that they're just better than you. And you have to try harder to get as good as them or better than them, not just in sport, but in life in general, to succeed. And if you're telling a kid that you can hit Control Alt Delete when things aren't going your way, that's a pretty shitty fucking upbringing, in my opinion. I don't have kids. I just call them as I see them. And I call them as when I was growing up, that there was guys who threw really hard and we struck out a lot, and things happen. But you know what? You have to learn to get better, not just in athletics, but in life. If things aren't going your way, you can't just fucking ask your dad to help you out all the time.
But like, so now this happened to Jasper's team last weekend. He's in the major, whatever you call it. It's house league, but it's tier.
It's major, yeah.
Whatever. They're the better players, and
tier 3, whatever the blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Who cares? So I don't. Yeah. I'm in the game, Dave. I don't understand how all the stuff works either.
So this is what happened in the first game of the playoffs. The kid that was pitching against him, is fucking good. He's fucking good. He threw a 1-hitter.
Yeah.
And Jasper's team ended up getting 11 run. It was a good game. In the 5th inning, both starters were in, and it was 4-1 for the fuck. I have to say it. They were playing the Yankees.
Fucking Yankees. No, those damn Yankees. No matter where you go, they'll get you.
And I'm just getting wordy, not saying Yankees. So it's Yankees versus Dodgers, and it was 4-1. And 2 of the Yankees runs were unearned. So it was like both starting pitches were awesome, and it was great. And so in the 4th inning, the Dodgers starter got his pitch count, and then the Yankees ended up 11 running. The kid for the Yankees threw a 1-hitter, and Jasper was, I'm going to say, visibly upset.
Yeah.
When we got into the car, and it was a pretty awkward conversation coming home. And I could not teach him that lesson about sometimes someone's just having a night on you, because he was that upset. It had to wait till the next day.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't make decisions based on emotion, right?
Right.
And that's
and he did get his lesson. Like, I'm that parent, but like, if I understand the coach wanting to save his kids from some humiliation, because think about it this way. How many of those kids, because like, once again, I don't know the level of play. I don't know where it is, but anyone that has a chance to throw that kind of game when they're in house league ball is going to dominate every time they take the bump. And then how many kids now, like, fuck, we suck. We suck every time. The fact that they got to play with the team that was kicking their ass and practice, I think would develop some more love of the game for them to continue, as opposed to quit saying this fucking sucks. This fucking sucks.
No, I 100% get that it is a tough look, and there's this kid like it's weird. I don't know this Sean Shalinsky kid guy for nothing. Like, I would just make this banter and speculation and everything else. I just find it kind of shitty that an adult would give up like that. And then part 2 of this, Dave, let's just say that let's call this kid who was pitching, let's call him Roger Clemens. Roger. Let's call him Roger. Let's just say that Roger ends up becoming a big leaguer. This is hypothetical. 20 years from now, or even 8, 9, when the other 12-year-olds are allowed to in a barn, like you said, in Milwaukee, let's just say that they're watching it, that Roger he's all of a sudden in the big leagues and Roger's on TV. They could laugh about it, going, remember that time that guy was no hitting us? I think there's something to be with that when a kid does make it, the kids who don't can look back and say, oh, do you remember that time? Because in general, kids, they don't give a shit when the game's all said and done. When it's all over, they're upset for about 2-3 hours. Most, not all. I'm not saying Jasper's that way. Most, not all, sorry. They forget about it by the time they get a Slurpee in their hands.
So, why do we adults give a fuck? Right? You just finished saying the kids are going to forget about it 2-3 hours from now.
But they'll remember, the story will get better. The story will get better 10 years down the road.
I think if you got no hit in house league and it caused you to quit the game saying like, fuck, I'm never playing baseball again. You don't even remember. You don't know that kid's name unless he was in your class. Yeah. Jasper doesn't know everybody on the other team. Like they're two, like I believe name recognition comes with travel ball and elite ball. This is now
more
still
so, for sure.
The ball I'm talking about right now that Jasper is in is a Lethbridge league. It's all lesbians in this league. So
it is Pride Month. You gotta watch how you word that. So yeah, lesbian, not lesbian, but whatever.
They're all lesbians, and he knows the kids that go to his school and whatever, and friends of friends. He knows some other kids, but that's about it. He didn't know the kid that fucking dominated on that day. He goes to Jasper school. He's a grade above, so he is older than Jasper, but it's nothing. He's a good pitcher. There's kids his age that can't fucking mow through an order like that kid did. Like he had a dominant performance.
It happens 100%. Like I was growing up and you're growing up, we both played organized sports. We saw it. Dave, what do you like? Let's get off the negative stuff. What do you like the most about Jasper's experience? Because you weren't a baseball guy growing up. What do you like most about Jasper's experience playing baseball? Like, what do you like that you see with your son and everything else? Is he going to be a big leaguer? Who knows? Is he going to be a college guy? Who knows? But at this moment in time, what do you like most about Jasper's experience playing baseball as a parent?
What I derive the most joy from is like he has joy for the game. He can't wait to get the ball. Baseball is clearly his favorite thing. That's his screensaver on his phone, on his computer. Is all different baseball guys.
Yeah,
that's awesome. What else also awesome? It's you know what, like never playing organized baseball in my entire life. The dugout camaraderie. Seeing them fuck around with the guys and tap them on the ass with the glove or like give them a fake slap on the face, whatever.
All the bro dude stuff.
Yeah, just guys being dudes, right?
Yeah.
So it's
something on TV or sees the older kids what they do, and
yeah, and then as they're taking warm-ups, you know how they do the drill. Well, like the drills, just to throw around before games, especially in the infield. Like once he takes his turn, like bullshitting with his buddy and stuff like that on the field. Like you know, I never had the opportunity to do that, and it's kind of neat seeing him be a ball player. That's something I never did.
What's something that, because we have to talk point counterpoint here, because that's what makes some content good, sitting around the bar stools, what you don't like. Dave, what's something that you don't like about minor baseball that you never experienced, and what you wish Jasper didn't have to be a part of?
I'm not going to say anything negative. I really am not. The fans are really quite respectful. There was a fairly sternly worded edict from the league saying how fans are supposed to behave. I have seen coaches on teams push that a little bit, and then after the day after that happened, there was a very strongly worded reminder email from the league, and they're doing their best, and it's, I think they're trying hard. I really am not going to bitch. I can't. really, because it's been a very positive experience for Kaylee and myself, and Jasper's love of baseball is really cool to watch.
That's good. Like you're probably one of the few. I shouldn't say few. Like the in general, the minority is the negative part of minor sports. And
yeah, and this
it really is. But the louder mouth and the loudness always gets the attention, and the negative always gets the attention in comparison. But in general, most parents are good. Most coaches are good, but there's always the one here and there that can really definitely turn the tables and get a sour taste in people's mouths. There was one other tweet I saw this week and that made a ton of sense that was quite disturbing a little bit, but it made a lot of sense that if a coach was to take a look around the 18 kids who are on the field when they're 12, you might only have 4 on the field when they're 16. And that's not just because of competitiveness and everything else, but kids they're like, I've kind of had it. And that's the problem we got with youth baseball in our country, not so much maybe in the States, but it just seems that we lose a lot of players because the fun gets taken out of it at around 12, 13, 14 years old, because there's all these travel teams, and everything else. We talked about that ad nauseum on the show before, and it's too bad that we can't just play in the community league forever. Like why you can't just be play in for the Lethbridge Dodgers or the Lethbridge Yankees and just have a good time with your buddies. It's too bad that it can't just stay that way for a long time.
Just Lethbridge house, like just whatever house league.
Yeah,
house league. You can play rep and still play house league, but you know you still get you have a draft or whatever, and
yeah.
and these coaches are going to want to coach because they're going to want, because baseball is the one team sport where it's all about repetition. You're going to get your kids in there to see as many at bats and repetitions in the field as you can. Like you just want it.
Because then you can play for your high school later on and everything else. It's just a lot of fun. Like exactly. Canada, there is a faction that takes it very seriously, a little too seriously at times, most times. But I wish that the grassroots stuff would stick around a lot more than it does. I really do.
Well, I'll keep you posted. So Jasper's 12 now. So when we're doing this in 4 years, Jesus, that would be episode what?
7,943.
But nonetheless, we'll be podcasting from his 16-year-old games, right? Because we'll have the technology and the following that's going to allow us to do that.
We'll get off this subject in a second here, Dave, but I had a discussion with some umpires. I'm the vice president of the Southern Alberta Umpire Association. I don't know if anybody knew that, but there was during that Legion tournament, there was a little, not a brouhaha, but there was a situation where the umpire didn't make the right call. And player A I think it was from Red Deer, said something to said umpire. Umpire rejected the player out of the game, blah, blah, blah. And so it is. And after the game, I was putting my umpire gear on and getting ready for the game. And this guy says, well, I guess I got to do a report. And I said, yeah, I guess you do. And he says to me, well, what do I say? I said, well, what caused the ejection? He said, well, I made a call and he didn't agree with it. And he called me a putz. I said, he what? He said, he called you a putz. He called me a putz. I said, so you're a 50-whatever-year-old man and you couldn't take some 16-year-old calling you a putz? That's on you, man. I said, did you get the call right? He goes, well, I'm not really sure. So let me get this straight. I said, you're not sure if you got the call right. And some kid that you don't even know his name called you a putz. I said, did he get his money's worth? At least called you a fucking putz? He goes, I don't think he did. I said, that's on you. We need to quit taking youth sports so fucking seriously and just enjoy it while we can. We really do, because you know what? They grow old quick, and before you know it, it's over. And I really believe that. So I gave that umpire shit. I said, you need to quit doing that, man. Don't come on the field looking to throw guys out. If you had if you were bullied growing up, you got to leave that off the field, because you know what? That's a bad look for umpires.
I'm not saying he had to own his maybe not mistake. I don't know if it was a blown call, but if part of baseball is arguing calls, and I get that. I also think it had gone a little too far. Like, these 5-minute long arguments are garbage. It's not good television for me. And it's if a kid, my skin's a little thicker that I can take bigger insults than you putts from a 16-year-old kid.
Okay,
it's
man.
just like,
You're still out.
like, careful, son. You were out.
Hey,
you were out. Go to the dugout. Go to the dugout. You putts. Go to the dugout now.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it? Coach, and then call the coach over.
Yeah.
Right. That's all you got to do.
It's been a pet peeve of mine since I got back in the game, where it's just nothing but ejection. And it seems like it's a rite of passage to get an ejection. I'm not doing it, because there was a close. Okay, we'll get off this right away here, Dave. But in the game right after that, I was on the bases. There was a call at third base, pick off at third. I called the guy out, the Leopard's coach, or the Calgary coach, my third base coach. He said something to me. He goes, "No," and I went, "No, that's it." And then I said he was out, and then that was it. Problem solved.
I'll save you the 10 steps and a couple liters.
Problem solved. This ain't a democracy. I didn't say it, but it's not a democracy. We're not voting here. No. And he goes, "Okay, good enough." And I just wish that baseball was more like that, where it's easy. The game should take care of itself. Let the players do it. And anyways, well, Dave, good conversation. A little more calmer than we usually get to start to show up. But I just want to get your thoughts on Jasper's baseball and minor baseball and Lethbridge, and what you think, because I think we got to get back to that a lot more. And because I think you keep a lot more kids in baseball if it was less competitive and more fun. Yes, you want to win, and yes, you want to have, and winning's always fun. But man, a good game here and there isn't bad for the soul.
No, you're right. The competitive spirit, and it's fun as shit. Those kids are having fun, and but it's not the travel ball. It's not rep ball. It's the upper tier, like, because there's an age stratus. You know what I mean when I say that, right? There's older kids in Jasper in the tier under.
Yeah.
And there's so that kind of thing. So it's competitive. I'm glad the way they broke the teams up like that, or the two divisions like that, because there's nothing worse than being overmatched, because all you're going to do is quit the game.
You'll give up.
Right. You strike out every time at the plate, and you drop every fly ball. Like,
I did that, and I played forever.
Oh God.
Anyways, no, I didn't do that. But anyways,
you know what I mean. Like, yeah. I don't know exactly where I was going, but it's nice to see kids playing competitive ball and having fun at the same time.
Yeah, no, it is. Anyways, you talked earlier about they're not even allowed to shave their nuts, but you know what, Dave? You know who's allowed to shave our nuts? We are. The 1420 Sports Podcast has teamed up with Manscaped, the leader in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped sent Dave and I the Performance Package 4.0 as the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. 4 million people, that's around, Dave, I reworded that, that's around 8 million balls can't be wrong. So we do know people who've, won nutters now for reasons unbeknownst to me or you or whatever happened. It could be a horrible manscaping event. Who knows? Inside the Performance Package, you get the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, and Reviver toner. You're also going to travel bag and Manscaped box as well. The Lawnmower 4.0 features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. It's waterproof, and it comes with an LED light to give you more precise shave. You don't want an accident down there, Dave. The Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer uses skin-safe technology and is also waterproof. Along with the Crop Preserver ball deodorant and the Crop Reviver toner, Manscaped will change your personal hygiene routine for the better. Men, boys, whoever's listening, ladies, get it for your for your men. It's time to change the way you take care of your boys. So go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping by using promo code 1420SCAPE. That's 1420SCAPE at manscaped.com today. Dave, there you go. I almost did it without breathing.
You did it awesome. It's the time of year. Dads and grads. Presents for dads and grads.
There you go.
The boy that's coming out of grade 12, the university graduations. If you got that's a good point. If you got puberty and you got balls, you need some manscaping. Dads and grads, perfect time to use this promo code.
Dad, get your grad something before he goes away to college, because when he comes back, he'll be using your razor when he comes back home for college. Anyways, the 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 beer with sports talk, and a whole lot more.
And he's been using your clippers for a couple of years now.
Yeah, that's very true.
Get him his own.
1420 Sports Podcast, 4 beer with sports talk, and a whole lot more. Dave, as we went on throughout the weekend and the Stanley Cup Finals got set, the New York Rangers lost out to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay's going for a quasi three-peat in Stanley Cup Finals. First team to do that since the I guess you'd be the New York Islanders in the mid 80s or early 80s. No teams won 3, let alone 4 in a row. Dave, first off, let's get this out of the way. It'll say in the record books that it's a three-peat if Tampa ends up winning this Stanley Cup. How do you say that it's not? How do you say that it is? What's your take that the Tampa Bay Lightning might be a three-peat, might not? Is it just circumstances, the COVID stuff and everything else, the madness we went through for 2.5 years? What's your take if Tampa wins this? Are they a three-peat team, or are they just a team that was a victim of circumstance?
I'm going to give them a 1.5. And the reason I give them a 1.5, and I would even say 1.1 or even 0.95. First reason being the first cup was that in the bubble crap, right?
That was looking back, Dave, that's so weird now.
It's so weird now that that's how it happened. And I understand that the NHL and the league really wanted to.
No one knew how to take the whole thing. And yeah, it's just, we're not getting into that, but yeah.
And the league did their best. And I'm not going to, and that's true. Last year, it was just interdivisional games, right?
Yeah.
So they had to play Florida, Carolina, which aren't joke teams, and it was a good division, but there was no travel. They went a whole a team of veterans that didn't have to travel.
Not much. Yeah.
What a huge benefit to them. What a huge benefit throughout the season. And then they did their thing, and they lucked out by playing the Canadians, which were not
shitty. They're shitty.
That could have been the worst Stanley Cup final I've ever seen.
I don't recall, the old brain gets going different ways, and I drink a little bit here and there, so you forget what happened. But there is nothing memorable about either of those Stanley Cup wins that comes through my brain, other than the empty stands in the bubble. I guess the first one was in Toronto, I guess, and then the second one, Montreal, there was empty stands as well. Nothing comes across my brain about they won the Stanley Cup other than the empty buildings, right? So it's just odd. It's not their fault. It's they're a victim of circumstance.
And it was tainted seasons, right? There wasn't if they win it this year, this is the only legitimate cup they have. The one that they can claim. I get it. Every other team had to go what through you did, blah 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 blah. This is the first time they have the opportunity to play a real NHL season with real NHL playoffs.
Face of adversity.
Win the cup. Yeah. If they don't win this cup, they're a pretender in my eyes.
They're real good. Like Vasilevsky, he's a real good goaltender. Well, he's really big, and that helps too. But they got a hell of a team. Stamkos and Maroons got one just more series in a row than in the Edmonton Oilers team in the 80s. It's kind of this fun little stat that's going on there. They're facing a Colorado team that's strong, hasn't won a cup since the Ray Bourque 2000-2001 thing. The man, oh man, that McKinnon's a good player. The Colorado Avalanche have a very good team. I can't see Colorado winning for the simple fact Vasilevsky's better than whatever pylon Colorado puts in net. He's just that difference maker, and I don't think that Colorado can match that. Yes, they have apparently the next Bobby Orr, the guy who's better than Bobby Orr, which I want to talk about in a second, in Cale Makar. Hell of a player. But man, oh man, Dave, the media's got to pump the fucking brakes a little bit. The kid's good. He can skate like no one's business, but slow it down with the comparisons to Bobby Orr and Paul Coffey and everything else, because you still got to win something. You never know. His career might be done next week. Like, you got to slow those comparisons down a little bit, in my opinion.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, we've bestowed that upon so many different players over the years, right? Drew Doughty. I remember when Flames fans thought Phaneuf was the greatest fucking flavor of the week, and they wanted him on the Canadian Olympic team. That hunk of crap. I couldn't stand that guy. But as an Edmonton fan, Tom Pody, and Eric Brewer, we couldn't get on our knees fast enough for those guys. And where are they now? They had 4 or 5 careers. Drew Doughty, where is he? Right? And like, I get it, he's hurt, but he wasn't a difference maker this year, and he was all world talent. Cale Makar is playing a hell of a high level hockey right now, and it's great to watch. But he's going to get paid because he's so young, and we're going to see. We're just going to see. Like, I like you hate these comparisons because it's impossible to protract a transcendent playoff position into a 12-year career. He's only been in the league for what, 3 years?
3.
4 years?
This is 3rd year, yeah.
Yeah. Like you say, like, just tap the brakes and just enjoy how special this kid is playing right now. Because those young guys, those young talented guys, when they're feeling it and jonesing it, like, there's nothing better to watch. It's
the thing I think about that, Dave, though, is that if you let it happen, it's going to be great, and just let him get better. He's going to improve. Like, these kids. I mean, there's kids right now who skate. Okay, don't mishear what I'm going to say. There's kids right now that pass better than Gretzky ever did because they have a higher skill level because of the training they have. There's kids that skate better than Paul Coffey because of what goes on. There's kids that do this and this, and they're stronger and bigger, faster, stronger. But the hockey sense and the way that the Gretzky's, Coffeys, Lemieux, Orrs transcended the game. We're giving these kids a lot of credit, which they deserve to an extent. But let's pump the brakes before. Yes, they're more talented, because you know what? Maurice Richard probably couldn't make a hockey team now if he came to shape how he went to camp 40 and 50 years ago. And that's just technology and science and evolution. So let's pump the brakes, let's enjoy it and let it happen, because you know what? If Makar doesn't get any better, the media that is making him the Messiah will be the same media that will be pushing him down and say, well, he didn't really turn out like we hoped.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's why Twitter is such a great tool and an echo chamber, right? Because I imagine the same, even though I don't follow certain things, that it comes across my feed about Makar. But also, too, they were talking about that on 960. Like, someone texted in or whatever, and they say, is Cale Makar the greatest Calgary-born player in the NHL?
I was listening to that this morning, actually. I heard the same thing.
Yeah. Like, where do you guys get off? Like, fucking Danny Heatley is from Calgary, Alberta.
Heatley scored 50. Makar hasn't done that. I know he's a defenseman and everything else, but
Jordan Eberle, and they had a couple others. Like, this kid's in year 3, guys.
Yeah.
Like, where do you get off even thinking about
like
it?
so? Like, I don't want to downplay this, and I don't know, like, because I'm a sports podcast host, so I should do more research in this. Did Makar win a World Junior? I don't know.
Neither me. I think he was on
I
that
know
silver win.
I
think he
know
was
the
a
one I
silver.
know the one thing he won for sure is the Centennial Cup championship with the Brooks Bandits. I know that for sure. To me, being great means you need to win a little bit. And Eberle, like Eberle may not have had the greatest pro like NHL career. He had a very good career, but he'll always be known as that guy who scored those late goals in the World Juniors. To me, winning is more important in a lot of things and Eberle did it. He scored some big goals. Eberle's an all-time great in Canadian hockey lore, in my opinion.
I agree.
And
I agree.
As of this moment on whatever day we're June the 14th, 2022, as of this moment, Jordan Eberle has done more in his career than Cale Makar has at this moment. Like at this moment.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Yes. At this moment.
In hockey, in Canada hockey lore,
like Cale Makar hasn't done anything yet.
Well, in Canadian hockey lore.
Well, because winning hockey's a team game. Makar hasn't done fuck all yet. You got to do you
5 points in 5 points in.
But you need to do something for your team to be considered an all-time great.
I completely hear you. It sounds to me you're trying to tomp on him a little too much.
No, I'm just saying there's a good chance he might, but if he doesn't, and he's just a skilled guy who racks up points, you got to win, man. Just win, baby.
I agree with you.
I'm probably going to end up wrong. He's going to win some stuff.
We're going to find out, right? Like, so like by that metric you just laid out, Drew Doughty's an all-time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like 2 cups with the Kings, Olympic
gold medals, World Juniors, Niedermeyer, blah. Like, you got to win. Win, man.
No, and I get that. And then, like, so Phaneuf with his 1 junior gold medal, that he's nothing there.
That was not enough. Yeah. Because anyone playing that team, fuck, that team
could have been on that. That was so fucking good. That was the best World Juniors.
That 03 or 04 North Dakota, right?
Yeah, the strike year, right?
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. We talked about that on the show before. Dave, who do you got Stanley Cup? Who do you got winning in how many games?
I do believe I've been right a lot, so I don't want to jinx myself.
Plug.
Yeah, if you listen back, I think I have been right. Even when I thought I was going to be wrong, I was even right. So I don't know where I'm going right now with this one. I know who I want to win. I got to see Colorado win. Vasilevsky, when he loses game, if Tampa gives Colorado a 2-0 start, I don't think they're going to come back. So I'm going to say Colorado in 6.
Colorado in 6. I have a feeling that Tampa and Vasilevsky is probably the better squad. Not better squad. I think that the Vasilevsky is the difference. I do believe. Oh fuck. Yeah, I'm a goalie hugger. I'm a ex-goalie myself. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning because of Vasilevsky winning the Stanley Cup in 7 games in a tight one. I think there's going to be 1 game where Colorado wins by a lot, by 5 or 6, but I got Tampa winning in 7 games. Just because Vasilevsky is going to be the difference maker.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that, because even when we dissected the Colorado Oilers series, if Mike Smith was average, Edmonton would have won probably 2 of those games.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky, he ain't average. He'll give you one average every 10 games. And he was average games 1 and 2 against the Rangers. He had 4 exceptional games.
Yeah.
So you got a chance to see him average at 1 coming up. So, but I'm excited. McCarr's a difference maker. McKinnon's a difference maker. I've always liked that Landeskog. I think he's a
hell of a player too. Yeah, hell of a player.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch, and I think it's going to be great fun hockey. I think
you're going to see Stamkos say, "Okay, this one's mine." That's another dark horse. I think your Stamkos is going to be that guy. I was drafted first overall. I've had a very good career. I took a little less money, yes, taxes and everything else. He's not making less; he's making more, but whatever. I think you're going to see Stamkos step it up, and he's going to be a different guy. He scored 2 goals in Game 6 in the Garden, or Game 7, sorry, I guess, and it was 6. I think you're going to see Stamkos be a difference maker. I'm going to go Stamkos with the Conn Smythe, actually.
I think that what you're saying has a very good chance to be true. Just to be contrarian, I'm going to say Cale Makar to be the youngest Conn Smythe winner ever. I don't know if he's going to be the youngest.
And next Prime Minister of Canada.
Next Prime Minister of Canada.
Actually, isn't Alberta looking for a new premier right now? He might get that too. Be the next premier of Alberta, Cale Makar.
Yeah, leader for life. Yeah, there you go, Cale. Good for you. Good Alberta
constituents boy. In Brooks and in Calgary, whatever. Here you go.
Whatever. No, I want him to shut you up. You this winter enough for you, fucking 1420 host.
There we go. Maybe he'll listen to the show. We'll hashtag Cale Makar, and maybe he'll listen. Who knows? Anyways, the U.S. Open this week. We talked about a little bit earlier on with the golf tournament coming up. The Bodog Luke's lock of the week. He's got Shane Lowry at plus 3,300. 20 gets you $660. Number 24 in the world. Luke's lock. Ryan Luke Davis on Twitter. Luke Davis. Make sure you follow him. He's got some funny things. He doesn't have anything funny to say. But anyways, Luke, we're thinking about you and Rosie. Tough things going on. But anyways, we'll talk to you guys later on when we get back to Alberta. But Luke's lock of the week. Shane Lowry plus 3,300. 20 gets you $660. 1420 Sports Podcast, Bodog, and who else we talked about so far? And
Manscaped.
We'll get into the other ones later on. 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 Beer Sports Talk, and a whole lot more.
I'm using that trimmer on my sideburns, but you can't see it because I wear cans, right? So I am using your product, Manscaped, and I really like.
My cans, something happened. So I'm back to the buds right now. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
They aren't charging. So I took it apart.
You're still recording.
Oh. Before we get going on our next topic, Dave, I want to give a shout out to our new sponsor, Fans Edge, and fansedge.com, subsidiary of Fanatics, all kinds of sports memorabilia and everything else. Thank you very much for taking us on and being a partner with us in the 1420 Sports Podcast. We appreciate everything. And also, I want to give a big, huge shout out and a thank you, as always, to Jim, our sound guy. He's made us sound good for a year and a half now. Tomorrow morning, he's got his video coming out, his first ever video to his song Sweet Desiree, coming out on YouTube. We'll put it out on social media, on all our things. We'll put it out there all we can get. Make sure you guys are listening to 1420 Podcast and get it out to Sweet Desiree. It's a great tune. Let's do a lot. Listen to it. It had a few different beginnings. It's a good song. The video, I've seen a snippet here and there. Congratulations, Jim, on your first video. You're doing some great things out there in Vancouver. So we're really happy that you still find time for our little show. Now that you're becoming a bit of a rock star out there in the Lower Mainland. So we appreciate everything you do, and we're proud of you, and we're happy that you're proceeding forward with your dreams of becoming a person in the music business. So thank you very much, Jim, and good luck to you, Sweet Desiree.
Can't wait to hear it, Jim. I haven't heard it yet. I am not in the family, so I don't get these sneak audio previews that Uncle Brent does, but can't wait for your Southern Alberta swing. I don't know if we got to sell tickets or we just got to start a fire and get you around the campfire with us. But I'm looking forward to it.
Dave, if you haven't noticed, we're a walking billboard. We're selling tickets, man. That's what we're doing.
Well, so now, like, I'm looking forward to hearing it, or I'm hearing forward to it.
Forward to hearing it.
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not looking forward to see anything, I'm looking forward to hear something.
I want to see it too. So I think he shaved.
Oh, because it's the video.
There's a video.
Yes.
There's a video coming out on YouTube.
So I'm looking forward to the full audio-visual experience, Jim.
Yeah, it's speaking of seeing, good segue. Social media and athletes, Dave. It's man, I'm glad I grew up the age when I grew up, and I'm 47 years old now. I mean, we could get away with I wouldn't say murder, but a lot of shenanigans and hoo-ha's and this and that. We're not going to get into what you think or believe. We're just going to bring it up to start the topic off. But there was a video that emerged on, I think it was Monday night or Sunday morning or whatever you want to call it. Connor McDavid at a bar with some teammates. Don't care where he was. Don't care who he was with. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't think he did anything nefarious. I think he was, from what I saw, he knew the girl. They were leaving. But anyways, we won't talk about it. Dave, do professional athletes today and children today and kids today and people today, do they get a raw end of the deal now because of cell phones and social media and cameras and videos and TMZ and blah, blah, blah? Yes, you shouldn't do inappropriate things, but inappropriate things do not. Okay. Yeah. Inappropriate things do happen. Some hurt people. Some don't hurt people. Some are fun. Some aren't. Most are just in fun and in jest. Do professional athletes kind of get the raw end of the deal where they can't go out and have some beers, can't go out and have some fun? I'm not talking McDavid. I'm not at all. Do professional athletes kind of get the raw end of the deal right now, and they can't go out and just have a good time like the guys that did 20, 30 years ago?
Yes, without a doubt, yes. I think in the high, like, you're in the public eye, you're a public figure, you're very good at your sport and this, but that doesn't mean you can't get on the dance floor and act a fool for a little bit. Like it never gives you opportunity to act a fool with strangers. You can only act a fool with your inner circle. You can only act a fool within the closed walls with people right? Like, I couldn't imagine having to go through life thinking I just so much want to act a fool right now, but I can't.
Take my tarp off and dance in the bar. Whatever.
Great Northern, whipping our shirts around, standing on the speakers, dancing to the Fanatics. Yeah. That's happened. I've done it. I'm sure you've done it. Like,
I don't know if I ever took my tarp off because I'm built like fucking the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I probably did it. Whatever. Who knows?
Well, or you did something. I'm sure. Like, yeah. Like those nights. Like, I'm gonna say that the Great Northern in Whitefish, Montana, when the Fanatics were playing, things got a little bit wacky in a very good, harmless, drunken, fun way. There was nothing nefarious going on. No one was looking to get in fights. We were there to have some fucking fun, and we did it. And if one of us was in the NHL, we were the same age as Connor McDavid is right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Yeah, we were that age, and just letting our hair down, having fun, meaning no harm. Just let's get into her, and we did. And for good or bad, I guess self-control is a good thing, but there's also something to be said with when you've worked hard all year, letting your hair down and having a little harmless fun. And you know what? Getting a little too drunk and dancing like no one's watching, that's harmless fun. That's what I'm talking about. But you can't do that. You can't get out there and dance like no one's watching because you're worried that TMZ is around the corner with a fucking.
Why do you think, Dave? I'm glad you put it that way. You brought it up that way. Why do you think that the rest of the common world sees things differently? Not the rest, but a good percentage of the population wants to see athletes, celebrities, rich people, quasi celebrities. Why do you think that they want to see people like, for lack of a better term, fail? Why do you think that they want to see these people be taken off their perch? Like, what good does it do someone to besmudge somebody for having a good time? Like, what's it to them, man?
I don't think it's besmudging. I think it's just fame is its own thing, right? Like that whole Kardashian thing. The fact I know those fucking women's names blows me away. I shouldn't know their names. I should never know their names. And and like two of those chicks are billionaires. Like, that blows me away. It's just that I believe the way media has transformed in the immediacy of the media that we consume now has lent to it that, oh, do you see what so-and-so is doing? Do you see what so-and-so is doing? Because fame has always been a thing, and I can stargaze and jock sniff as much as the next guy, but it's just an innate thing. Like, oh God, I like that guy so much. Oh fuck, I hope it was something stupid because I hate that guy. The Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, that was a train wreck. That should have never been on the fucking news. Just
I shouldn't. I know who Johnny Depp was more for 21 Jump Street than anything else, and that's the honest to God truth. I never seen any of the Pirates of the Caribbean or anything else he's been in, and actually I've seen him live at the Roxy in LA with the Hollywood Vampires. So I know Johnny Depp for the Hollywood Vampires with a bunch of other rock stars and 21 Jump Street. The rest of it, I shouldn't even know who that fucking guy is because I don't watch movies. I don't. How that becomes a part of our everyday life. Like Amber Heard, I don't know why she's famous. I don't know what she did. I don't care. But is it the media's fault, or is it rich people's fault, or is it the common man's fault for these people getting alienated?
I don't think it's media's fault. I think it's just going where the clicks are. Like, you put a story out there, and that's how it's generated now with money, right? Like, if you put out a story with that, they're going to click on it. People are going to click on it. People are going to consume it. And I don't know if it's a majority of the population, but I say it's a section of the population that clicks on 10 things for every one I click on. Right. And that's the same with sports. And that's the same with this. Like we see it on our Twitter accounts with the show. Detail expands, highlights watch, blah, 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 blah. We see that. Like, it's not just about likes. It's about actually touching the button and watching what you've put out there for someone else to watch. And then that opens up those ads that we see all the time. I don't know who the fuck clicks on those ads, except for me every once in a while when I'm trying to scroll down and I accidentally click on an ad. Yeah. Fuck, I hate that. And then you go to your browser.
Don't be afraid to click on some Manscaped ads in the 1420 podcast account. But anyways, it goes from there.
It's never a Manscaped ad because I'm never scrolling through our feed because I'm there. Like, I know it. I'm living it.
Dave, if you you're in your 50s, I'm in my late 40s. We've now lived X amount of decades of being sports fans and hockey fans and baseball fans and whatever else it is. It's changed a lot. The celebrity, the money, the everything of what athletes make compared to what when we were in the 70s, when we first started watching sports, to the 80s and 90s and the 2000s and to where we are now. Pick a decade that you would like to be one of the famous guys in.
Oh, Mickey Mantle.
But they weren't
Fucking
making
right.
much money, though, is the thing, right?
He was the king. Mickey didn't touch his wallet. Like, what do you mean? What did Mickey want for?
Well, just to be famous and hit baseballs.
And I
Really,
think he did all right.
to my knowledge. Like, it's everything he went he was the greatest baseball one, arguably one of the greatest baseball players ever. He didn't touch his wallet very often. He got told to go live. He not told to, but he went and lived with Roger Maris and everything else. But man, those 90s guys, they just started first making money, and they were having a good time, and celebrity was becoming a thing. But the thing with that is, no, you know what? I would want 80s because they're like, it wasn't big money, but it was good enough money, and there wasn't a thing as phones and cameras, and there wasn't cable and blah blah blah. I don't know. Being in the 80s and being a hockey star in the 80s might have been pretty cool. Like Gretzky and those boys probably had a really good time.
Did you see? I was just gonna say, did you ever see the Boys on the Bus?
Yeah.
That, because like the fact that they sat around that table and were half cut and telling stories. Gretzky, Mess, Anderson was there, and
Lowe was in that. Pure was in that. Yeah.
Pure wasn't at the table, but
there
they had
wasn't a lot of coffee.
Lumsley or
Lumley.
Lumley
Dave
was
Lumley.
there. Yeah, I have that VHS. I got to get that onto a DVD before, because I don't even know. Do I own a VHS player?
I have a VHS. I have one.
Okay. Do you have a VHS or DVD recorder? Nonetheless,
I think Deanne
Boys
does,
on the Bus. Well, anyways, I'm gonna get that on, because that was for those who don't know, this was totally amateurish documentary of the Oilers the year after they lost to the Steve Smith goal. They came back and they
86.
talked about this season. Yeah, so it would have been that year, and it was really cool. I haven't watched it in a while because I don't have a VHS player. But as to your point, that would be the time, because even when we were young and we would run into Oilers players in the bar, and Oni would get up there and get on his knees for everybody that even smelt like Oilers sweat, right?
Yeah. No, it's no, these kids, I think they're yes, they're making millions and everything else. They're set for life, not everything else. But I do think that they're missing out on what being a professional athlete is supposed to be, because it's just a different way of life now. And you can't sneeze, but you can't go to get groceries or whatever else and go and have a good time and really enjoy it. I think that they are missing out. It is too bad, because man, oh man, like when I was a big fish in a really small pond, I'm telling you, I had a good time. It was nothing bad. It was nothing evil, but it was a really good time. And I think that these kids are missing out on that part of it. And I just thought of this. It takes them away from the fans even more. Like there's a definite level of what a fan is compared to what an athlete is. The separation is so much bigger than it used to be that you will never even know that anymore. But I won't know what it's like to have $60 million or making $45 million in my bank account, or making $45 million a year. I won't know that. Whereas back in the day, some of those guys weren't making a whole bunch more than the working men.
Some of those guys, but any name we know were. And then just a little bit more though, like this clip of Connor was taken on the streets of Toronto. Back to my point of exactly what I said, like, in the streets of Lisbon or Rio de Janeiro or Mexico or Cabo, no one ain't gonna know you there. So like I do have to give him a little bit of a finger wag. Even though I do believe it was innocent, it's just like you got to pick your spots, because there are places where you can be a nobody and dance like no one's watching, right?
I would bet you if I would, well, trying to think of a spot that McDavid's an exception, but I will bet you that here it is. If Mike Trout were to walk in to Brown's Public House, which is a 3-minute walk from my house here, if Mike Trout were to walk in with an entourage of people, nobody in there could pick out who the famous person was.
You're right. I may or may not. I would recognize it. Like, how do I know that guy? But like, there'd be no reason he would be here and whatever. Fuck it. I know that fucking guy. I know that guy.
Oh, yeah, and then I was leaving. It would probably be like, oh, but I wouldn't go back and say hi.
Yeah.
All right.
No, yeah, exactly. Trout. I might hang out and watch and look for his car or something like that, and I'm
not running back to the tavern to get his baseball card to run back into autograph. Like, no, yeah.
I'm not gonna Daryl Katz him or anything. No.
Anyways, no, it's interesting situation these kids are in. Anyways, I'd like to thank once again the Fan of the Van podcast. Jim, we got to do a show sometime. It'd be great. You and Dave can talk about Deshaun Watson in your own separate ways. You guys say it the exact same thing, but both differently. It's fantastic to listen to you on a bi-weekly basis. Fantastic. Thanks to our listeners for sure. Any suggestions you guys may have, any ideas, topics, guests you guys want to guest on the show, we're more than happy to do it. The 1420 Sports Podcast. 4 beer sports talk and a whole lot more. We'll be right back with another rousing rendition of Who Is Better.
Nothing.
I
got nothing.
1420 Sports Podcast, 4 beer sports talking and a whole lot more. Dave, one of my favorite segments we get to about every 2 weeks now. We got some other things going on, which have been working out quite well for the show, but Who Is Better brought to you by SeatGeek and SeatGeek.com. Make sure you get your tickets and use promo code 1420pod. That's 11420pod. You get $20 off your first purchase to tickets, your sporting event or a concert, where you want to go to. Anyways, Dave, who is better? It's quite simple. I give 2 names. You tell me who's better. We'll debate it and go from there. Good?
I like it.
Who is better, Dave? Mookie Betts or Bette Midler? I don't know.
You know what? I bet you Bette Midler has a lot more money, to tell you the honest to God truth. But
do you think she's loaded? Like, I know she's rich beyond belief, but Mookie's making 30 a year, I think, isn't he?
I bet you Bet had a couple years over 100 mil. Like that Wind Beneath My Wings garbage back in the day. And she was on everything.
The only thing that I know Bette Midler from is that Seinfeld thing where she got ran over at home plate by George. I don't know. And Wind Beneath My Wings. I don't know much about Bette Midler. I mean, she's a New York Broadway icon. I don't know much about her. But who's better, Dave? Mookie Betts or Bette Midler?
I'll take Mookie Betts all day. Like, because Bette Midler, like even when she was at the peak, I think she's a poor man's Barbra Streisand.
You might get some pushback from our New York listeners, but whatever.
No, Barbra Streisand's a queen. She's an absolute queen. I 100%.
See, I don't.
Oh, fuck. That's one talented one person. Oh,
you were gonna say something different there, Dave.
I was gonna say. I'm glad I caught myself. Yeah, she's one talented woman.
Where am I gonna go here? Dave, number 2. Who is better, George Jefferson or that no good cheating Houston Astro? Now Toronto Blue Jay, hell of a player, George Springer. Who is better, George Jefferson from the Jeffersons, moving on up, or George Springer?
Oh, 100% Sherman Wemsley on that one. He took a bit part in Archie Bunker in All in the Family. Moved it into his own sitcom, which was as funny, if not funny.
I think it was funnier. It didn't move the needle as much social wise. years on, but it was really good.
And then turn it into bit parts on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and what have you. It's kind of funny you mentioned this because there was a thing on Twitter I saw the age. Wheezy, his wife in the show, was 12 years older than him in real life.
Really?
Yeah. Like he was 39 and she was 52. It blew my mind when I saw it. I didn't fact check it. Do it yourself. Maybe it came across your own Twitter feed, whoever is listening right now. But yeah, Wheezy was far older than he was. And that was Sherman Hemsley is his name. That's a funny motherfucker.
I loved that strut he had going across the room to answer the door.
Oh yeah, the Connor, thing. Like he was Connor McDavid
was
before
something else. That strut he had was that was quite good. I had one written down here but I changed it mid stroke here. Who is better, Dave? Jackie Gleason or Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan, I wasn't big on the kung fu movies and everything. I get it. He's doing his own stunts. He's quite a talented individual. Jackie Gleason, I'm clearly too young for the honeymooners.
Funny.
But I just watched it was about a month ago. Kaylee was out for you know what? It might have been when Kaylee was on COVID. Jasper and I watched Smokey and the Bandit.
That's right. Yeah, we went for dinner. We went to Luigi's, me and you,
right.
and Deanne. Yeah.
Buford T. Justice.
Yeah.
You asked my son about Buford T. Justice. That was Jackie Gleason. And I'm taking Jackie Gleason in this one by a bit because
I forgot he was. I didn't forget he was in that, but I forgot that was a movie, which is sad because they were so great in the mid '80s when I was first becoming a human being, and it was stuff I shouldn't have been watching or listening to. But I was like 82, 83, so I was 8, 9, 10 years old. It was great, and it kind of made me who the man I am today. You know,
Buford T. Justice is Jackie Gleason.
Yeah, Jackie Gleason with the swearing behind you, like whatever, who cares? Fuck, whatever.
That simmering rage where like you don't mess with me, guy and a guy. Like that's comedy to me.
And that's the thing, Dave. Like I learned to swear at a young age, not just, and I'm sure my parents knew that I was swearing at a young age, and I never got in trouble because I was allowed to watch these movies that were back in the mid '80s, like Porky's and the rest. Like it was just, I swear a lot.
My son has a pretty good potty mouth, and like he does know the difference. He really does. Like when we're out in public, he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
But when it's the three of us, him, his mom, and I, and when he's mad, he's allowed to swear a little bit, and then they'll come along and, okay, that's it. Smart enough. And then when he's joking, right? Like he doesn't drop the F-bomb, but he's pretty free with both bullshit and shit, and he presses the boundaries about what he thinks is proper.
I remember, Dave, there was when I was living in Vernon, BC, and I came home for Easter.
How old were you?
Oh, I was 20. Fuck me.
Okay, so you're allowed to
22 years ago. So I was 25. I come home for Easter, and I said, "Hey, Mom and Dad, have you guys seen this Trailer Park Boys thing? Sunday night, Easter dinner, we'd eaten, family all went left." I didn't realize how much they swore until I was sitting with my mother listening to how much they swore. I was like, oh, this isn't really that good. Because I never said the F word. I swore like a bastard. but never the F word from my mother until I was about 27, 28.
What's the worst swear word in your household? Fuck or goddamn?
Fuck. Like my house here, like with Deanne or
no.
oh, with Margaret?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, see, like goddamn was punishable back in my day. Like you weren't allowed to say goddamn. And then like and even to this day, it's God. I'm not a goddammer. I'm more of a vulgar swearer as opposed to
there was a guy I used to work with, Carl Murphy, because that's every Newfoundlander's name is Carl Murphy. That was his line. Well, that's a goddammer. That's a goddammer.
And it's kind of funny, and that's very rearing. Yeah. Because if you took the Lord's name in vain in the school I went into, like you got corporally punished.
Struck by lightning.
No, struck by a stick or a hand or something, like either on the ass or the hand. Like you got fucking punished.
We don't talk about the Catholic Church or anything else. We'll move on, Dave.
I never got molested.
Well, that's good. Who is better, Albert Einstein or Albert Pujols?
Einstein, come on, stop it. Like science wins the day every single time.
I disagree.
Albert Pujols isn't even in the greatest of his generation.
Okay, but hear me out. Don't just shake your head before you. Like I see you shaking your head and rolling your eyes at me.
I'm stoic.
Albert Einstein only has a theory. What Albert Pujols did is actual reality.
Albert Pujols is an athlete playing in Major League Baseball today.
Yep.
Albert Einstein developed his theory in the 1940s.
It's a theory.
But we still know his name 80 years later.
But it's a theory.
We know his name 80 years later. Is anyone going
to... So Albert Pujols will be in Hall of Fame in 80 years.
Are we going to be speaking of Albert Pujols in 80 years?
What? I'm asking you as an actual human being here. Because I don't know. I'm not a science guy. I'm a fucking sports idiot, blah, blah. How is my life better because of Albert Einstein?
We don't know that because the work he did as a scientist, as a physicist, has made changes to our lives that we don't even know. I think things that he has done enabled the space program. I think it's enabled the nuclear program. Oh,
it's a theory.
I know this. No, I know that the work he did as a scientist changed the world that we live in right now in countless ways that we can't even measure. That's why.
That one's up for debate. We'll call that one a draw between me and you, Dave.
If there is, I would absolutely love someone to prove me right on this one. That Albert Einstein has made a marked difference on our lives.
I don't know. Like all I hear is a theory. Well, I have theories too. No one fucking publishes those.
Okay, but who else?
I got all kinds of theories.
80-year-old theories. 80-year-old.
I've only had 47 years to figure these theories out. Give me 33 more years. We'll put them out there. Okay. Who is better, Dave? Dave Chappelle or at his height, David Beckham?
This one I'd like to take a pass on because I don't think Dave Chappelle is as funny as most people think he is.
I think he's thought-provoking.
Without a doubt. I don't dig on him. I think he's really funny and thought-provoking and pokes the bear in an easy way.
Just enough to get conversation started. That's why I like him.
Yeah. Beckham, you're not a chump by being on the England national team. Like you're clearly a star, right? And
did the hype equal the skill?
We'll call that a draw, right? Like in Marrying Posh, and I was a Spice Girl fan. We all know I'm a
stop right now. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh, I do need somebody with a human touch. I do not. I want to call this a draw, and it's kind of an apathy draw. Like I really don't care for either of them, but I will recognize their influence on their genres. How's that?
We'll do two. That was very politically correct. We got two more. Randy Savage, the Macho Man, or Randy Moss. This one's tough because they're both really good.
They're really good, and Macho was my dude. I loved him. I told the story on the podcast about going to the Sportsplex for actually paying for a fucking seat to watch watch WrestleMania in the Sportsplex.
Yeah.
I've told that story where Macho dropped the elbow on Hulk Hogan and
that in WrestleMania 4, I think, or 5. Yeah,
it was really early. I was only 16 years old. I was such a big Macho Man Randy Savage fan. I love that motherfucker. Randy Moss in the peak of his career, I 100%. I loved him. I loved him too. These are like, if this one's funny, it's because just right after the Chappelle and Beckham thing, these are two guys I really dug because there's so many people that really didn't hate him, but that kind of hated him, but I loved him so much. I'm gonna take Randy Moss on this one because I think Randy Moss is the greatest receiver ever to play in the NFL.
Wow.
And him hanging the moon to the Green Bay fans in that playoff game as a tiebreaker. I think Randy Moss is the greatest receiver ever to play in the NFL.
Not Keyshawn?
Randy Moss is better than Jerry Rice. Randy Moss is better.
Whoa!
Randy Moss is a better receiver than Jerry Rice. Better. He's the single best player ever to play that position in the NFL. Randy Moss.
Not Keyshawn? That's my USC fandom talking there. That's my USC thing. Seriously, not Keyshawn. Anyways, last one. I put it up on the Twitter account and Facebook account earlier on. Last one for the night, Dave. Who is better, Jose Cuervo or Jose Altuve?
Jose Cuervo's a tough one, right? Because there's different brands and levels of the things you have with Jose Cuervo, right?
There's different situations you get yourself into with Jose Cuervo.
Exactly. And Jose Altuve is always good, but he may have an edge, right? So do you know what you're getting, or is someone coming with an added thing? I'm going to take Jose Cuervo because you can't trust what you're getting with Jose Altuve.
I put it up there. I thought there were some very, very funny responses that made me laugh quite a bit. The one was Jose Altuve cheated. Jose Cuervo makes you cheat. Cuervo's so much better. And Adam Halsey said they both make me sick. So, there's different responses on Jose Cuervo and Jose Altuve. I can't do tequila. I like a margarita. I can't do shots. I can't. I will.
It 100% depends on the brand that you're drinking.
Yeah.
Like, until I tasted good tequila, I didn't know good tequila existed. Like, that shit they poured here in Lethbridge, Alberta back in the day, it was awful.
Oh.
Fucking awful. Prairie fire. You gotta have a prairie fire.
Correct.
I don't gotta have a prairie fire. You know what? You guys are throwing those up, I'm gonna fucking throw it on the floor and pretend I drank it. I did that. People that bought me that shit, I poured after the age of 21. I poured more on the floor than I did down my gullet.
Really?
Oh yeah. Fuck that shit.
Anyways. No, Dave, fun show tonight. We started off informative. We got a little bit silly near the end of it, which we always hope to do. And I hope we entertain the masses and hope people keep listening. We're approaching the 30,000 download mark, which is a huge accomplishment for our little show. We've come a long ways from the basement down here in the tavern. Quite proud of what we got going on. Be sure to help our sponsors out who help us out. Fans Edge, SeatGeek, Manscaped, and Bodog. We'll put all the links out there. Jim's taking care of the commercials. We did a few reads today, so we're very good. But most importantly, the 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 Beer Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. Take care of each other. More important, take care of yourself. You need year round. Keep your stick on the ice, and what else?
Don't sing at high pitches. Get it?
I got it.
Don't sing at high pitches, Jimmy. I'm totally looking forward to hearing your song, buddy.
Jim's videos out tomorrow. Sweet Desiree. We'll put it on our social media accounts. You guys make sure you listen and tell them how good it is and everything else. We'll talk to you guys again on Thursday night.
Pass it on. Support our sponsors, please. That's all I can say. We finally got some sponsors to help you guys out who have been listening to us for so long. We appreciate that. Support them because they support us. And then who knows what's coming forward.
We can almost buy a bag of popcorn with all the support we got.
Well, that's one more bag of popcorn than we had last week.
Deanne can eat popcorn.
I can bet. That fucking chick, I saw her eat chicken wings.
Oh, jeez, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I imagine. Would you just put a strap around it and put it on her face? Like
feed bag. It's a fucking feed bag. It's a fucking feed bag. Orville Redenbacher feed bag.
That's great to me.
I'm glad she doesn't listen. Anyways, 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 Beer Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. Sweet Desiree from Jimmy Valentine.